Oh, they're all just connecting to audio, so we're good. And Doug, it is Doug Marmey. You're ready to go on the live stream whenever you want to start.
Hey, Spence.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, I love your background.
Hey, thank you.
It's pretty cool.
I'm glad.
Hey,
Everybody's been
congratulations. Congratulations on getting engaged, buddy.
Hey, thank you. It happened right about there.
I'm telling you what, she's a good girl.
I know. I'm pretty lucky.
Yep.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just add one more thing to the overachiever category.
Yeah.
I liked your other background better, Spence.
I know. I'm not on this committee though, so I gotta mute myself.
All right, well, mute yourself.
We're going to call this Finance Committee meeting to order.
Hey, Doug, you muted yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Lang, Harris, Blake, and Marmey. First item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $145,062.04. Is there anybody to speak for the Jed Z?
Well, I can go ahead and speak to that. Sorry, I would just had to get Tim in and then I was getting caught up. This is just the quarterly collections and that's for the distribution of it.
I'll offer a motion.
Second.
Motion by Bub, second by Harris for the appropriation of $145,062.04. Any questions and or comments?
Doug, this is Mark Motter. Mayor, thanks for jumping in there. I was getting a late start here, but yeah, he is correct. That was an appropriation that Barb Jobs needed. She didn't have enough in the budget originally. And so this is the appropriation to give us allow to make that distribution for the third quarter of the JEDZ. So thank you.
What do you mean she didn't have enough in there?
That was her explanation to me. The JEDZs are performing very well because they have the Amazon Fulfillment Center is out in that area and a number of other corporate offices and distribution centers. And so I think she was under budgeted for this year and didn't have enough to make that payment.
I think she collected more than she had anticipated, and this is the overcollection.
Yeah, I can speak. There
Right,
just wasn't enough
yeah.
appropriated. The budget didn't have enough appropriated in it because she did collect over.
Okay, very good. Any further questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is another request for appropriation for the JED Z2 in the amount of $894,844.51.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's the same situation as we just had with the JED Z1.
I'll offer a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Bub, second by Harris. Any questions and or comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I may just add, it's a rather large number, but this is the JED 2 that Amazon sets in. So of course their sales are higher than projected with the COVID and what's going on. JED Z1 before had Prologis and some companies in it. This is the one with Amazon in it.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by a thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $3,850.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll speak to this. This is a payout for an employee who worked in the engineer's office that we promoted to stormwater coordinator.
I'll offer a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Bub, second by Harris. Any questions and or comments?
Could I, real quick, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Bub.
Oh, yeah, just real quick, David. I think that's a good promotion. She's done a real nice job with the city. Are you planning on filling her position in the engineer's office?
Ryan, yes, we are. We're going to make some modifications to it. And we've got a couple open positions in the engineer's office right now, and we're going to make some changes, which we'll be bringing to council. But yes, we are going to fill it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have, sir.
Thank you. And David, would you mind making sure that she gets her contact information out to all of council? Because I know that's communication to that position, definitely when we have stormwater type issues and things is vital. So that'd be great if we could get her contact information once she has all of that set up.
Doug, I'll have that to you in the morning.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by a thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is, let me make sure I get all these in correct order. Is ordinance 20-39, an ordinance to make an appropriation for the expenditures of the city of Newark, Ohio during the year ending December 31st, 2021.
Yes, I'll speak to that, Mr. Chair. This is what we commonly refer to as the general fund, 20-39. We are presenting you with a balanced budget that does not need to use any rainy day funds. It also does not, and it's nice to say, have to anticipate any layoffs. And the departments did a wonderful job of being efficient and doing another good job this year. And to have that carryover a little heftier. There's a few places that it's going to fluctuate a little bit due to some technology we're bringing in to make it a safer environment. And for our employees, it's also an efficient environment. But as we bring technology and specifically software into the city, and but other than that, it's a balanced budget. We appreciate if it was passed tonight and understanding in the next 2 weeks upon coming up on the council meeting that we're certainly here to answer any questions of any council member.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, the general fund, we received the preliminary, not the preliminary, but the actual ordinance on Thursday. Really didn't get our hands on the budget until Friday. I did not have a lot of time this weekend to really mull over it and to look at different things. I know that I will, though. I had an opportunity to start looking at it today. And I know I'm going to have some questions for Lori and the mayor, and I've already talked to them about a couple of them. So I think it's prudent that we move forward with it and send it on to full council, knowing that if we have questions in the next 2 weeks, we can get a hold of Lori and the mayor. In addition to that, if we need to have a committee meeting prior to our full council next time to discuss the budget, if we want to discuss it in detail, because it's hard to do during a council meeting, I'd be happy to do that also. So just knowing that, but we need to get it moving forward in order to make sure that we meet the timing before the end of the year.
Mr. Chairman.
So if that makes sense to everybody. Yes, Mr. Bub.
Thank you. Yes, from what I've seen at the budget so far, I'm pleased with it. Pleased with the fact that we're allotting for another property maintenance position, along with a permanent position in the Parks Department. You're going to take that temporary summer funding back a little bit. So I think it's a move in the right direction. This gives a couple more weeks to study it. And with that, I will offer a motion to send this on to a full council.
Second.
I have a motion by Bub, second by Harris. Any questions and or comments?
Chair.
Mr. Blake.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Chair. I just wanted to have an understanding, maybe the mayor can explain, how has the COVID and loss of revenue affected this budget going into the next year?
Sure. So the projection from our income tax department, Barb Jobs, our tax administrator, has scaled that back about $500,000 for next year, which I think overall is compared to this year is pretty good. And she's pretty conservative with that. She's very careful with that and understanding that. To let everybody know, more than 80% of our revenue does come from weekly or monthly withholding, however you have to pay. So that's an ongoing thing. I don't think we are impacted as much as some of the larger cities that certainly have large employers with large layoffs. And honestly, this city has we've been running very efficient for a few years without extra fat or anything. Clear back in April or May, I know Cincinnati laid off 800 workers, and that's an enormous number to think about. Of course, they've got a lot of employees, but that's something that hasn't affected us. So we worked real hard since March 1st at the very beginning to tell the departments to be efficient. Let's build a strong carryover so we don't have issues. So I don't really think, surely the COVID dollars are used for a few things, but they're all COVID related, but they haven't necessarily offset the budget at all, but they're one-time funds that way. But we feel pretty confident moving forward. We anticipate a rainy day fund of maybe $650,000 by the end of the year, and not have to tap into that seems pretty good. So optimistically and in the right direction, it's really better than I thought it might have been. But when we dipped into the numbers, it really looked good, if that answers your question.
No, that does. That's all good to hear. We just read in the newspaper about how the COVID and the pandemic has affected other cities. So it's nice to hear that report. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Again, kudos to the employees. They work real hard. Something we've been doing for several years is kind of teaching them finances and understanding that the expense budget isn't there just to empty. The old story, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's something that, we got rid of a long time ago, and understanding that what they don't use in 20 carries over to 21 and makes it a healthier budget it really played into track this year well. So again, we were able to adjust a little bit, and we're happy with that. So, Renee, thank you.
Good. And I know Mr. Bubb had mentioned the additional employee and property maintenance and in the Parks Department, but it's my understanding that we're also going to be getting a new police officer. Is that correct?
That is correct. We did build in, they reached out. There was a couple different positions that council, through personnel committee and through council, has approved. We're not going to be filling them all because they really, at the end of the day, were contingent upon funding, but we are able to fund one more police officer, and we're real happy to do that.
Thank you.
Mr. Lang, did you have something also?
No, he just covered it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing the general fund budget on to full council signify by thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 20-40, an ordinance to make an appropriation for the expenditures of the city of Newark, Ohio during the year ending December 31st, 2021. This is the all other funds. So this is all of them other than the grant funds and the general fund.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's you named it exactly. Just as a quick refresher, of course, the general fund can be used for anything, and there are many departments, including safety, that fall under that. The all other legislation or all other budget is going to cover those specific funds. Water that has to be used for water improvements and water expenditures, just to kind of say that generally. Streets and traffic. We have some cemetery funds open and closed where people pay ahead of time. And of course, we have to keep those funds separated. So this is going to fluctuate through the year depending on what engineering and water projects are going on at the time. It was up quite a bit a couple of years ago because of the downtown project. So it varies quite a bit that way, but it's everything that kind of has a specific use.
Very good.
I'll offer a motion.
And I have a motion by Bub. Second by Harris. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance 20-41, an ordinance to make an appropriation for the expenditures of the city of Newark, Ohio during the year ending December 31st, 2021. And this is for our grant funds. This is our budget for our grant funds.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, absolutely. This is the existing current grants. I kind of want everybody to keep in mind, I just come to my mind a little bit. This is our expense. You're appropriating money when you pass the budget ultimately. So understand that some of these grants were in existence last year and some funds did not get expended. Then those same exact dollars are put into a budget for 2021 so we can spend them. So you kind of don't add across years and come up with total numbers. And that's pretty much the same even of any of these dollars. So, but these are the funds that work with the court system and of course work through Mark Motter's office through community development. And then we have some safety grants out there too, but everything in this is a grant item.
I'll offer a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Bob. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Harris. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by thumbs up. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. The last item that I have, and it's just something that we're not going to vote on or anything. This is going to be sent through on Rule 11 this evening. We received an additional $209,891.19 of COVID money. So that needs to be appropriated. So then it can be included with the other funds. It will still have to be spent by the end of the year. So that stipulation still does apply. In addition, the only other thing, the November 20th deadline, of course, has passed. So we're fine with that. And we also have been encumbering that in the miscellaneous to make sure that we meet those deadlines. So we'll do the same with this. So does anybody have any discussion, questions, anything on the COVID funds that we'll be voting on this evening using Rule 11?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Lang.
Yeah, thank you. I think I just wanted to understand kind of where we are in terms of dispensing the monies that we've received so far. I know we did issue a number of checks in the last few weeks. Mayor Hall, I don't know if you can speak to that, or kind of have, just generally off the top of your head where we are, how much is remaining, and what the plan is with the remaining funds with this additional 200,000 we're going to add to those funds.
Yeah, I'd be surely happy to. So the 200,000, it was anticipated. I think it's something we actually even talked about before. It just physically didn't get in our hands till this past week. It kind of gets passed, of course, from the federal government to the state to the county and then to our hands. So hence the kind of timeliness or the rush of it a little bit. I'm honest, we don't have the exact numbers that you want. I will have those this week. We've been putting all the energies into the budget and getting that done. So we got those initial checks out. We still have money left, obviously. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna work with the auditor's office this week, and that was our focus on COVID, to give that exact number and then push it out to council and see where we can satisfy the rest of those dollars in the community.
Yeah, thanks. I think there's obviously a lot of public interest in that list. I think eventually we do need to make that public so that folks can see where all the money went.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to kind of realize and be sure this isn't grant money as we think about it, where we can kind of just, generally with our grant money, a lot of times it has to, the satisfaction is just a low and moderate income use, and this isn't. This has to, again, fit the three main criterias of timing, has to make a difference in COVID this year, and then they couldn't be in a budget item. So whether that money came out of the CARES Act and entity received it through PPP, through the county, or through us, it can't be duplicated dollars, and that's kind of critical a little bit. Certainly, if it's a private business, if they're doing revenue loss, there has to be kind of a discount factor to that, because you can't 100% guarantee it was all COVID. You can compare the years and look at it, and it's fine to a point, but you can't, the government won't allow us to assume that you would have done exactly, even without COVID in 20, what you would have done in 19. So there's a discount factor. As far as hard costs like hand cleaner, sanitizer, things like that you have to buy and stuff. A lot of that could have been covered through some grants already. And again, you can't give those same dollars again for that same. So this is where we do our due diligence and work pretty hard and make sure those receiving it, we're not doing something to get us in trouble or get them in trouble, because if it's some duplication, they'd have to give that money back, and that'd be a tough time for them too. So we're just stepping through it, but we'll put all focus on that now that we've got that budget balanced out there. And again, we'll work on it very hard, look at the dollars and look what's left and what we can do with it.
Yeah, one last comment, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I think that's good. I think the issue that came up for me, because I did have somebody reach out to me based on the reporting, which really was just, on the high level account names that we have for the funds. I think some money went into fixtures, and the only fund that's being used externally is the miscellaneous fund. And I think there was probably some confusion caused by just looking at those high level account names. So I think having that additional context and detail to see, furnitures and fixtures wasn't really just, we bought a bunch of desks for people, right? It was a little bit more nuanced than that. So I think having that detail, I think, would be helpful.
One thing I want to add, if somebody is watching this that really feels that their organization is deserving, just saying that they could use the money is not going to allow us to provide any kind of funds. What we need is justification, like the mayor indicated. It has to be directly COVID related, and or a profit and loss, a comparison of last year to this year. And that's not going to be 100% like the mayor said. That would probably be at a percentage of that could be covered, and no duplication with any other government funds that could have already been afforded to those agencies. So that's kind of what's needed. I know a lot of charitable organizations or people asking on their behalf have submitted emails, but no one has brought forward any kind of information. I know that the homeless outreach, they definitely brought us information and we were able to assist them. And I think that that's something that's fantastic. It was specifically COVID related, and Nancy Whaley got the information together and got it to Jonathan, and they worked together to make sure of that. And it was very well organized, and we were able to help them out. But without that detail, we can't just give to a charitable organization. We would love to, but the government is going to ask for those funds back if there's no justification. So, any additional questions and or comments? If there are none, then we're going to stand adjourned, and next up is service.
There we go. So having a hard time seeing everybody on the screen. Okay, we'll call the service committee meeting to order. Those present are myself, Jeff Rath, Jeff Harris, Jeremy Blake, Spencer Barker, and Ryan Bob. First item on the agenda is consider resolution number 20-92. This is an emergency, a resolution authorizing and directing the director of public service to enter into a contract without competitive bidding for the necessary alterations and upgrades to Newark City Council chambers and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll speak to this. We've had several discussions with Councilman Marmy, Councilman Blake, and a few other members of council about making some alterations to city council chambers. We engaged an architect, North Point Architecture, and they're willing to do a design build, and they can get on this pretty quick. Once I have the okay and I get the final plans, I'll get it out to all council members. But in short order, we're talking about expanding council chambers out probably about 6 feet underneath where the walkway's at. We're talking about expanding the front of the building, which would allow us to put the security personnel out there where people scan in, which frankly separates people. We'll have to do some stairs work and some glass work, but this is all stuff we can get done and get going pretty quickly. Hence the emergency clause, because we are using COVID money for this.
All righty. Do we have any questions from the committee?
I'll offer a motion. I look forward to seeing the plans. Thank you.
All right.
I'll get
motion
it.
by Bub,
Second.
seconded by Barker.
Yes.
Did I see a hand go up there, Mr. Blake?
I just wanted a point of clarification. Were we going to use Rule 11 on this tonight?
Well, I'd hope to.
Okay.
I'd hope to.
I was not aware of that.
I thought that, yeah,
Marty.
my understanding was is that we were just going to
Wow.
have discussion in committee and then have use Rule 11 tonight at
Yeah.
full council.
That's the intent, Jeremy.
Okay.
I'm
Well, then
under
I don't
that
think
same
the,
thing.
I don't think the
My
motion.
apologies. I was not made aware.
Yeah.
I was not made aware of that. Mr. Marmy, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a couple of them. Yes, we definitely do need to use Rule 11 on this. And just to make it clear, these modifications are being made both for, and I want to thank Jeremy because on the technology side, he's been able to give a lot of information and great suggestions and everything there. And but these modifications are being made so then it's going to be more friendly for COVID, whether we are going to be in an environment where we need to have separation or if we need to be in an environment where we're going to have to utilize technology because of, like Zoom meetings and things like that. It's going to be directly correlated to COVID and making sure that council chambers is going to be COVID friendly, basically, and making sure that we can have social distancing and also the technology will be available to help folks if we are in that kind of a situation. So thank you.
Sounds great, Mr. Marmy. I'm assuming that you've been talking to and you're okay with using Rule 11 on this tonight? Same question to you, Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Bob, you have a comment, question?
Thank you for the clarification. For the record, I will withdraw my motion.
Okay.
And then, can I, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Lang?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I just had a quick question for the service director. I don't know if you have a general budget for this or how much you think we're going to be spending on this.
John, that's a fair question. When I get those final numbers, I will share them with every member of council, and that'll be forthcoming pretty quickly.
Do you have a ballpark at all?
I'd hate to give a ballpark at this moment. John, the next couple of days, I'll have that for you.
Mr. Blake?
I was just going to mention a thank you to Mr. Marmy and a thank you to Director Rhodes. I think that this is going to be I think everyone's going to be very pleased with what's going to happen here. Having some television screens on the sides of the walls in council chambers so that accessibility during this whole pandemic will be easier for the public to participate. And then even after the pandemic is kind of over, we'll still be able to use the technology in the room for city business. And I think it's going to be a wise investment. So I think everyone will be pleased once we're done. So so thank you, Doug and David.
Thank you.
Fair enough. With that, we'll move on. But before we go to the next ordinance, I see that our new our new safety director, Tim Hickman, is joining us. And just wanted to say welcome and good to see you. Look forward to working with you.
It's nice, Jeff. Thank you.
All right. Next would be ordinance number 20-42, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain property generally described as 27 River Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, from that of single-family rental, low-density district to planned unit development district zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio. Just as a reminder that are you guys able to hear me?
Did you skip one, Jeff?
He did. He did.
Yeah, Jeff, you skipped 2093 and you're breaking up a little bit. Your picture's frozen.
All right, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Okay, let me go back. Let me go to resolution number 20-93, a resolution authorizing and directing the director of public service of the City of Newark Ohio to accept and enter into water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the city of Newark for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities, UV disinfection upgrade project, and designating a dedicated resource to the loan. Assuming Mr. Lewis is going to speak on this.
Yeah, this is just the authorization to enter into a loan. This is probably, I think, one of maybe 5 pieces of legislation on this project that we're going to have to do. We've already established the rates for this a couple months ago. We've also established an ordinance or a resolution to enter into an engineering contract. The engineering of this is about finished, but we need to enter into a loan agreement with OWDA for this project, and this is the authorization for that. We'll enter into that loan agreement. We'll submit the loan application in February. We will enter into that loan probably in June, July, probably something around there. And because bids will be coming in June, and the construction will be done before the disinfection season of 2023. So, and this is just authorization for us to enter into that loan. The loan will be about $3.5 million. And once again, those rates have already been approved a few months ago. So.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion by Mr. Bug, seconded by Mr. Barker. Do we have any questions from the committee? Do we have any questions from anyone else? All those in favor of passing this on to council signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. That will pass with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate it. Up next will be ordinance number 2042, 20-42. Even though I'm reading this for the second time, it does not constitute a second reading. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 2811 River Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, from that of single-family residence RL, low density district to planned unit development district zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio. Just as a procedural reminder, this will, if voted forward today, will go to Planning Commission and for a public hearing and a review, and then come back to committee, or I'm sorry, back to full council for another public hearing and then a vote. So who is speaking to this?
I'll speak,
Moorhead.
Jeff. It's Brian Moorhead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so this ordinance 2042 and actually 2043 and 2044 are all 3 properties, separate properties that are have been submitted by a developer for to be changed to plan unit development. And so they should all kind of be considered together. And I don't know if you've seen it with your package or not, but there is a preliminary development plan, several pages long, I think 30 or so pages long, that the developer has also submitted. So if any of you have any questions or any interest in this, that plan is, I believe the clerk has a copy of it, and there's a copy in the engineering office here. So as Jeff said, this will get referred to, it'll go to council for a first reading and then get referred to Planning Commission after that. So if there's any questions at this point, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
We have any questions from the committee? Mr. Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Moorhead, is that information in a electronic format?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, I don't believe I've seen it. If you could you send it to all council members?
Yeah, it's a pretty large file. I'll see if I can email it though.
Thank you.
Mr. Barker, you had a question?
That was my same one, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will offer a motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the table by Mr. Bub,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Barker. Any other further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. This motion will pass with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, sir. Up next, we'll have ordinance number 20-43, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 2738 River Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, Licking County, Ohio, from that of single-family residence RL Low Density District to Planned Unit Development District zoning code of City of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Moorhead, I'm going to assume that your comments on this are going to be ditto.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Any questions?
I'll offer a motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion
Second.
by Bub, seconded by Barker. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify with a thumbs up. Mr. Harris, you get a vote? Thank you, sir. All opposed, same sign. All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0. Up next will be ordinance number 20-44, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 2550 River Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, from that of single-family residence RL, Low Density District to Planned Unit Development District zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Moorhead, ditto?
Yes, sir.
I'll offer a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Bub, seconded by Barker. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this out to council signify with a thumbs up. Aye. Mr. Harris, thank you. All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0. That concludes the service committee, and we will reconvene in about 34 minutes for a full council meeting. Thank you all, gentlemen.